Bellator 274, Gracie versus Storley, full card predation. We got Neiman Gracie fighting the nearly undefeated Logan Storley. Very, very close to being an undefeated fighter in the welterweight division, only losing to the Bellator welterweight champion himself in Yaroslav Amosov, who is currently 26-0, beating literally every single person that he has encountered in his MMA career. But Logan Storley is a very good wrestler. Neiman Gracie is a very good grappler. That should definitely be a really good main event. We got chance for Rencountre and Andrey Koreshkov in the welterweight division. Adam Piccolotti coming back after, I believe, like a year and 5 months, fighting Georgi Karakhanyan. Up-and-comer Davion Franklin fighting Sowma. Wrestler, grappler Nick Browne's fighting more of a Muay Thai boxer, kickboxer type of guy. And Mandel, Nallo, Brandon Bell, and Brennan Warren. Jaylon Bates and Chris Disonell, Bobby King and Aviv Gozali, DeAnna, Bennett, and Justine, Kish, Cody, Herbert, Jordan Newman, Corey Samuels, and then Justine, Montalvo, Isaiah Hokit, and Theodore Macuka, as well as Jonathan Lorenzo and Orlando Mendoza. Those are the fights that we will be doing predictions for on the channel. But before we get into these predictions, you guys already know we will be doing a few bets for this Bellator 274 fight card right here. A few parlays, a couple straight bets, maybe a few props here and there as well. So if you want to see all the bets that we will be making, go onto your computer and press that join button on the channel for 10 cents a day and become a member. So with all that being said, let's get into the first fight here in the Bellator welterweight division. Orlando Mendoza and Jonathan Lorenzo in the welterweight division. Not too sure what the ages of 0-1 Orlando Mendoza, but both of them, not doing too good recently. Jonathan has gotten a lot of wins on the amateur scene, guillotine, left triangle choke submission win, and then a couple of decisions there as well. I would definitely say that Jonathan Lorenzo is more of a wrestler, grappler type of guy. Orlando, more of a tall, lengthy boxer, kickboxer, coming off that loss of John McNeil, getting TKO'd in that fight very, very badly. Definitely the odds should have been switched, and McNeil should have been a pretty big favorite. But I'm definitely never going to be super confident in guys that only have one fight. I mean, Jonathan has one fight, Orlando has one fight. Both guys are really not the most experienced MMA fighters, but I mean, watching the last fight from Orlando Mendoza, his wrestling didn't really look good, his chin didn't look good, he didn't really respond that well to pressure, and I do believe Jonathan Lorenzo watched back that Orlando Mendoza fight that he had inside of Bellator in his Bellator debut, and Lorenzo's literally just going to go out there, pressure forward, throw some huge shots, take the fight down, and look for that TKO. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory prediction. Jonathan Lorenzo should definitely go out there, and I definitely think he's gonna go for that finish, because if you go into your Bellator debut and you're fighting like a 0-1 guy, the least you can do to propel your career is go out there and get a finish. Because if you get a decision on a 0-1 guy, that's not really gonna boost your stock too much. So I think we're gonna see a finish here. Jonathan's gonna come out and he's gonna TKO him in the first or second round. Really good fight in the welterweight division. Isaiah Hokit and Theodore Macuka in the featherweight division. Both guys, not the best records by any means right there. 1 win and 2 losses, with a knockout win 2.5 years ago and a submission win on the amateur scene 2.5 years ago. Then he got knocked out by Cody Law about 6 months ago. Then he got knocked out by Damon Wilson about 3 months ago inside of Cage Warriors. 11 seconds of the very first round, and then a minute and 54 seconds right there. That is not, that's not really the best look, getting finished that fast in Bellator and inside of Cage Warriors over there. But Isaiah Hokit, pretty much the same thing. You look right here, a 10-second knockout loss to Corey Samuels, a fighter that I'm pretty sure is also going to be on the card, unless that fight did get canceled. That fight might have actually got canceled, because I do believe Corey was on the card. Yeah, there he is. Corey Samuels versus Justine Montalvo. That is who Isaiah Hokit just got knocked out by. But Theodore Macuka, I'm gonna be honest, he's got decent volume on the feet, little tip-tap shots on the feet, but he's got a horrible chin. His takedown defense isn't really the best, so wherever the fight really goes, which most likely it's gonna go to the ground, we're gonna see Isaiah Hokit to win. But again, both of them have garbage chins, getting knocked out both in their last fights in literally less than 10 seconds. That is absolutely horrible. But Isaiah, with the wrestling advantage, should go out there and finish the fight on the ground. In the Bellator featherweight division, Corey Samuels and Justine Montalvo in the lightweight division. For this fight, it's decent. It's a decent fight. Definitely a step up from like losing record guys on the first couple of fights. But now we got Corey Samuels and Justine Montalvo. Both of them have some pretty solid power in their hands. Land some very powerful shots in their Bellator debuts. If you look at Corey Samuels' Bellator debut, getting a 10-second knockout on Isaiah Hokit, who's also on the card, as a plus 450 favorite. Absolutely insane. Before that, getting a triangle, then losing submissions to Michael Rodriguez and Dean Barry. As an amateur, you know, we don't really have to look at that. That's not looking too good there. With a record of 1 win and 9 losses as an amateur, not looking too good at all. But Justine Montalvo is a better striker, is a better wrestler, he's a better grappler, he's a better clincher, he's a better kicker, he's a better body shotter, more power, more speed. I really don't care. I'm hyped on Justine Montalvo. I really love what I saw in that Bellator debut on Jacob Baum. He's very fast, very elusive, very powerful, really good body kicks and body shots. That right hand to the liver, he caught Jacob Baum so many times in that last fight, almost finished him. Like literally in a lot of those encounters, he was so close to getting that finish there, but didn't get the finish on Jacob Baum. But Jacob Baum is honestly a super tough guy. Barely did get finished against Georgi right there, but he's a tough guy. He definitely eats a lot of stuff, and he keeps on coming back. He's got a couple finish losses in his career, but this fight here, Justine Montalvo and Corey Samuels. Corey has not faced the striker of the same pedigree as Justine Montalvo. So my prediction here in the lightweight division, Justine Montalvo going out there, keeping the fight on the feet, landing a body shot, and knocking out Corey Samuels in the very first round. Jordan Newman and Cody Herbert in the middleweight division. Jordan Newman, wrestler, obviously, minus 500 is the betting odds. He's got 3 wins and 0 losses. Decision win over Joseph Holmes. That is not a bad win whatsoever, because Joseph Holmes, if you guys remember, is fighting in the UFC right now, getting knockout wins over Jonathan Potty, Shante Barnes, beating Dwayne Diggs, Michael Tavar, Ryan Leninger, Tyler Jones, and then Coney Oliveira. All of these guys, Contender Series wins, LFA wins, Fury FC wins, and then a close decision loss to Jamie Pickett in the UFC. That is not that bad of a fighter there. Then Jordan Newman just goes out there and destroys with the wrestling in the unanimous decision. After that, he got a first round TKO on Riley Miller with a hammer fist, and then a second round TKO on Branko Busic from elbows from the crucifix. The only guy he is not finishing is going to be Joseph Holmes. He's going to go out there and most likely finish Cody Herbert, in my opinion. His only loss was a decision loss, but again, he's never fought a wrestler, a striker. He never fought a guy like Jordan Newman. He had a few fights in bare knuckle where he did get a submission there, which is why I'm going to say right now, for all you bettors, do not bet Jordan Newman. Cody Herbert, I believe, did serve our country. He's in the Marine Corps or the Army, if I'm remembering correctly. So he's got that heart, he's got that grit, and he did come off a submission win in that last fight inside of bare knuckle boxing. So you never know with this type of fight. Cody could just go ham on the striking, get a knockout somehow, or maybe he could latch on a submission. I highly doubt it, but you just never know. But overall, my prediction is going to be Jordan Newman by domination and getting that TKO in the first or second round. DeAnna Bennett and Justine Kish in the flyweight division. Both girls, in their last 3 to 5 fights, not looking too good. Justine Kish has a horrible record inside the UFC. She did beat Nina Nunes, which is honestly a pretty solid win, because she was in the top 15 and not too long ago. And then she beat Ashley Yoder by unanimous decision. But after that, she honestly fought worst opponents: Felice Herrig, Jeon Kim, Sabina Mazo, Tracy Cortez. I mean, Tracy Cortez is a solid one there, but she's fighting, lower level unranked fighters inside the UFC, and she just kept on losing. Lost to Felice Herrig by unanimous decision. Jeon Kim by split decision beat Lucy Pudilova, who is no longer in the UFC. I believe she's fighting in some octagon over there. And then after that, she went on that 2-fight losing streak to Sabina Mazo and Tracy Cortez. So she's really not doing too good in her last 5 fights inside of the UFC. But DeAnna Bennett, I do believe, is going to have the striking advantage when it comes to the hands. Justine Kish is going to have the striking advantage when it comes to the feet. The kicking goes Justine Kish. The boxing goes DeAnna Bennett. The wrestling goes DeAnna Bennett. The volume goes DeAnna Bennett. The pressure goes DeAnna Bennett. The power... no idea. Neither girl really has any power, so I can't really speak on that one too much, but I do believe a fighter like DeAnna Bennett, who's beaten ranked opponents that are in the UFC right now, Juliana Pena, the champion, Jennifer Maia right there, fought Roxanne Modafferi, Livina Souza, who else did she fight? Sajara Eubanks right there, Karina Rodriguez, Miranda Maverick again, Liz Carmouche, Alejandra Lari. She's fighting very, very legit girls, and a lot of the girls right here, especially some of the ones that she has beaten, like Miranda Maverick, Alejandra Lara, like Juliana Pena, Jennifer Maia, all of these girls are much, much tougher opponents than Justine Kish is. Yeah, you can definitely make the argument that she's getting a little bit older. She is 37 years old at the time I'm making this video, but still, she's a better striker, better pressure, better volume, got the better wrestling, the grappling. Only thing going Kish is going to be the kicking game, but definitely going to go DeAnna Bennett. I'm pretty sure she might still be the underdog, if I'm remembering that correctly, but you never know. It could have honestly changed in the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the case may be. Yeah, she is going to be the underdog at plus 110 right there. So yeah, I'm going to go with the underdog in DeAnna Bennett, winning that fight by unanimous decision. Aviv Gozali and Bobby King in the lightweight division. Bobby King, he did come off a loss in his last fight to Alexander Shabili. Pretty much got out-wrestled and out-grappled for 3 straight rounds. Kind of all you really need to know if he's fighting a wrestler and grappler in Aviv Gozali. If he's losing to Alexander Shabili, who's just kind of a grinding wrestler, what is that going to say? If Aviv gets the fight down one time, he's going to get the submission. I mean, come on, guys. Bobby King, he's a solid guy. He's got solid boxing, pretty good heart. He just keeps on coming at you, looking for that finish, looking to win the fight. Beat Steven Seiler, UFC veteran Nick Newell, who fought Justin Gaethje, and he's got a lot of other solid wins there, only losing in the last 5 fights to Alexander Shabili, and that is about it. But now he's fighting Aviv Gozali, pretty much the best grappler in Bellator right now. In my opinion, the youngest grappler specialist in Bellator, and one of the best. I mean, heel hook in the first round, Kimura in the first round, Anaconda in the first round, and Minari rolled the heel hook in 11 seconds. I believe that's a Bellator record. Rear naked in the first round, and an armbar in the first round. Yeah, all of these wins were not against the best competition, but come on, Aviv Gozali, the man's grappling and wrestling is so fluid. He moves out there so well. The only way Bobby wins is some crazy shot he lands on the feet and knocks out Aviv Gozali, but I don't see that happening. I got Aviv Gozali winning this fight by a submission again in the very first round. Jaylon Bates and Chris Disonell in the bantamweight division. I don't know why I always thought it was Disonell for the longest reason, for the longest time. I'm really not too sure why, but 25 years old and then 29 years old. A little bit of a height advantage and a very, very big reach advantage right there by a total of 6 inches. Absolutely insane. So on the feet, I definitely give Jaylon Bates the advantage. He's a very, very good rangy striker. Solid kicks on the feet. Really good point striker. Not really going for the finish when it comes to the striking. Maybe on the ground he will go for the finish every now and then. He's got that guillotine. He got 2 arm bars in his last 2 wins in inside of Bellator. So on the feet, not really looking for the finish, but once that fight hits the ground, he's looking for that armbar, he's looking for the rear naked, for the guillotine, for the triangle, whatever the case may be. But on the striking, he's not going to go for the finish. So if he's going to win the fight by a finish, it will be on the ground by a submission. And I think that is exactly what happens here. As of right now, is crazy. He's a minus 1,125 favorite. Absolutely insane. In his last fight, he was a minus 900 favorite, of minus 450, minus 625, and then a minus 600. All of these fights, Bellator is feeding him easy money. So, of course, I'm going to go Jaylon Bates winning. Chris Discano, I mean, he has 4 losses right there. Got knocked out, lost the decision, lost another decision, and then he got submitted. So, he's shown some decent power, a couple knockout wins here and there. Come on, Jaylon Bates is going to take the fight down. He's going to range strike on the feet, eventually get the fight to the floor, and he's going to get that submission. They're just trying to build that record of Jaylon Bates to like 7-0, 8-0. Then they'll give him a real test in the Bellator bantamweight division. So I got Jaylon Bates by submission in the first or second round. Brennan Ward and Brandon Bell in, let's just say, the welterweight / middleweight division at 175 pounds. Both guys not doing too good in their last few. Brandon Bell losing a Darce choke in his last one, a neck crank, and then losing by knockout. Before that, getting a decision win, and before that, getting a lot of other knockout losses. He has lost to some decent guys. I mean, one of them being Neiman, who is currently fighting inside of the UFC, but he is coming off a couple of losses that are nowhere near as good as Brennan Ward. Brennan Ward is going to be the better boxer. I do believe he will have the better wrestling. He's got more power. He's got more speed. He's got the wrestling. He's stronger. He's taller. He's lengthier. I don't care where you look at this fight. Brennan Ward is going to be the better guy. And they're feeding Brandon Bell, a guy that gets finished in pretty much all of his fights, to Brennan Ward, who gets a lot of finishes in his fights, submitting Ken Hasegawa and then knocking out Cyan Awad about 5 years ago. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go Brennan Ward winning the fight by knockout in the first or second round. In the 175, I'm not too sure, catchweight division, Mandel, Nallo, and Nick Browne in the lightweight division. This is a very interesting one because originally I believe the odds had it very 50-50, but now there was a lot of money coming in on Mandel Nallo. Originally it was minus 115, having Mandel Nallo as a very slight favorite. Now he's almost a 1.5 to 1 favorite, which means probably like 60% of the time Mandel Nallo wins, but it's a close fight. Both guys only losing once in their professional MMA career. Mandel Nallo only losing to Achilles Mota by a leg kick knockout, coming off knockout win over Ricardo Seixas, Carrington Banks, Alec Williams, and so many other guys. He's of course gonna want the fight to stay on the feet, use that Muay Thai, use the kicks, use the punches, and win the fight, maybe by another spectacular knockout, but probably gonna be up by a decision. I don't see him finishing Nick Browne in this one. Yeah, Nick Browne, wrestle, grapple, look for the TKO, look for the submission. Mandel Nallo, keep the fight on the feet. Do not look for the wrestling. Do not look for the grappling, and win a decision and possibly get a knockout as well. But it's an interesting fight. The only loss for Nick Browne is going to be John Gunther way back in 2017 by a unanimous decision. It was not the main event, but John Gunther, if you guys remember, fought on the Ultimate Fighter, and he fought inside the UFC not too long ago. So that's not too bad of a loss. This is his only loss as an MMA fighter, but overall, it's a tough one. I can definitely see, like, whoever wins the fight, it's going to be a domination. If Mandel Nallo wins, it's going to be a dominant decision, 30-27, or he's going to get the knockout. If Nick Browne wins, it's going to be a dominant decision, or he's going to get a submission on the ground. Either way, someone's going to be dominating the other guy. Very hard one to predict, but I'm going to go Nick Browne. He has not failed me in the past. I have predicted him to win a lot of his last few fights in the LFA and inside of Bellator, so I'm going to pick him again. He's got the better wrestling. He's got the better grappling. Nick Browne, 30-20. I'm going to go 29-28. I think one round will slip into Mandel Nallo's hands. So Nick Browne, 29-28 decision. Davion Franklin and Sowma in the heavyweight division. decision. Davion needs to go out there and get the knockout. He's 27 years old, 6 foot 3 inches tall, with an 80-inch reach. Tapology predictions very, very close, slightly going Sowma. They're all going by knockout. 70% by knockout, 73% by knockout, and then barely anyone going for it to be a decision. But on the feet, it's tough. Saeed Sowma's got power. He did knock out Ronnie Marquez. He knocked out Bobby Brent. Submitted Dustin Clements. Knocked out Mario Eatman, and then Quinton Henry. So he's got decent power in his hands. A couple of knockout wins here and there. But it is the heavyweight division. You're going to have that knockout power, of course. Davion Franklin is going to be taller. He's going to be lengthier. In my opinion, be a little bit more powerful. It just, I don't know about the later rounds. This is the only thing that's really, that really worries me for this fight. Because first round, if we're gonna say either fighter is winning the fight in the first round, I'm gonna say Davion Franklin. He's got more power, he's got the length, maybe he even takes down Saeed Sowma TKOs. There's a lot of avenues early on in the fight for Davion Franklin to win, but in the later rounds, we have not seen the cardio of Davion Franklin tested. Saeed Sowma has been to the later rounds in a lot of his fights, especially in the Vitaly Minakov fight. In the last one, he didn't really win. It was a broken finger situation, but still, it's a very, very interesting one here with Saeed Sowma and Davion Franklin. The later rounds, Sowma's going to win. Early rounds, Davion Franklin's going to win. How am I supposed to know if it's even going to go to those later rounds? It's such a hard fight to predict, in my opinion. Definitely, like, if I had to, I probably would go Davion Franklin very, very slightly in the early rounds by knockout, but it's not a fight I want to predict, because I do not want to put this to my prediction record. It's not one of those fights, because it can literally go either way. It's a 50-50 one here, but I'm going to go Davion Franklin. I think that height and reach is going to force Saeed Sowma to have to come forward, and Davion Franklin's going to counter him with a big shot and knock him out. That's a prediction. It could happen. It might not happen. It's a very, very close fight, but I got Davion Franklin in the heavyweight division. Georgi Karakhanyan and Adam Piccolotti in the lightweight division. Adam Piccolotti is going to have the better wrestling. He's going to have the better grappling, in my opinion. He is going to have the better striking at range, being 3 inches taller and having a 4-inch reach advantage. Solid kicks at range, but overall, throughout the full 3 rounds of this fight, Georgi probably is going to have the better striking because he's more powerful. He just comes forward and just throws you huge shots out there. But is it going to be a striking fight? No, it is not. We saw what happened in his last fight against Saul Rogers. Got taken down many times in that one, and kind of got dominated to a unanimous decision. Adam Piccolotti is going to do pretty much the exact same thing. So my prediction here in the Bellator lightweight division is going to be Adam Piccolotti taking down Georgi Karakhanyan 5-4 6 times in this entire 3 rounds and winning every single one of the rounds by a 30-27 unanimous decision. Decent fight there in the lightweight division. Andrey Koreshkov and Chance Rencountre in the welterweight division. Chance Rencountre, he's a decently lengthy guy, 6 foot 2 inches tall, and then a 74-inch reach. He usually does have a little bit of a height reach advantage type of thing. This one is not really going to be the case because they're pretty similar in height, and it's actually Andrey who's going to be having that reach advantage. A lot of people are going Andrey. I also will be going Andrey. Andrey's more explosive. He's a lot faster. Definitely has more of a chance to get to the finish here. He's got flying knees. He's got arm bars that he can get on the ground. He's got spinning back fist, ground and pound, that flying knee that I was talking about, knees down the middle. I mean, he has so many avenues that he can win the fight. He only lost when Ben Askren kind of out-wrestled, out-grappled him, kind of, you know, gassed him out a little bit there. Douglas Lima attacking the legs. Didn't allow him to move too much. Douglas Lima attacking the legs. Finished him late. And then Lorenz Larkin barely beating him by a split decision. Chance Rencountre is not Douglas Lima. Chance Rencountre is not Ben Askren. And then I don't really know if I had Lorenz Larkin winning that one, so I can't really speak too much on that. But definitely Chance Rencountre is nowhere near the skill in terms of striking as Andrey Koreshkov. And Andrey's wrestling and grappling has definitely improved in his last few fights. So I definitely expect this fight to stay on the feet for 3 rounds, and Andrey being the better striker, the better kicker, the better faster striker, the more powerful striker. Wherever you look at the fight in terms of on the feet and actually punching or kicking, Andrey Koreshkov has the advantage. I don't think that Chance Rencountre is going to be getting the finish here. I got Andrey Koreshkov winning this fight by a 30-27 unanimous decision. Rencountre did lose that one by knockout against Lyman Good in the UFC, but that was about it. That was the only knockout loss on his record. Lyman Good's got a lot of power in his hands, so I think the fight goes all the way. I got Andrey Koreshkov by a decision. Neiman Gracie and Logan Storley in the welterweight division. Logan Storley is going to be more of a wrestler type of guy. Had a very, very good fight with Yaroslav Amosov. I mean, that fight could have gone either way. It was a split decision. Watching it back, I did definitely have Yaroslav Amosov winning, but it was very, very close. You got to be honest with yourself. That was a very, very close fight. Before that, he beat AJ Matthews right there by second round knockout. Ian Pascu, unanimous decision. A couple of TKO wins there in the first and second round. But he's a solid guy in terms of the wrestling here. So it's going to be a tough one. Neiman Gracie is going to be the better grappler. Logan Storley is going to be the better wrestler. And then the striking in terms of power, speed, volume, pressure, all that, it's going to go Neiman Gracie. He really has impressed me in that last fight with Mark Lemminger. And even in the fight with Jason Jackson a little bit, and throughout his last few fights, his striking has definitely improved in the last few fights. And Logan Storley getting a split decision on Dante Schiro, however you say the name, that's not it, man. If you're getting a split decision on Dante Schiro, come on, Neiman Gracie should definitely win here. Doesn't have, like the super high level wrestling, but eventually it's 5 rounds here. He can keep the fight on the feet for most of it. He'll outstrike you, and eventually Logan's gonna be gassing out a little bit. Neiman is gonna pull onto that submission. So I'm gonna go Neiman Gracie here. I believe he's got the better he's got the better grappling, he's got the better striking, got the better cardio, better power, better speed, better volume. Only thing really going Logan is the wrestling, but I don't think he can hold that wrestling for the full 5 rounds. So I got Neiman Gracie winning that one by a 4th or 5th round of because it could be a knockout. I'm gonna say 4th or 5th round finish, because I would not be surprised if Neiman Gracie wants to again show how good of a striker he is. So Neiman Gracie by finish in the 4th or 5th round in the welterweight division. Yeah, that is my full card prediction. Bellator 274, Gracie versus Storley. I had Gracie winning that fight. I had Andrey Koreshkov winning, Adam Piccolotti, Davion Franklin, and Nick Browne winning that fight right there. Brennan Ward, Jaylon Bates, Aviv Gozali, the underdog, DeAnna Bennett, Jordan Newman, Justine Montalvo, Isaiah Hokit, and then Jonathan D. Lorenzo. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and become a channel member. Just read the directions in the comment section below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.